A dying man with nothing left to lose sets the city on edge. Ching-Wan, master of disguise, turns his final days into a deadly game of wits against Detective Ho. With diamonds, deception, and time itself running out, every bluff could be his last. But who's really hunting who, the cop chasing the criminal or the criminal pulling the strings? In a world where every second counts, trust is a luxury, and survival is just another trick. Before we dive into this wild game of wits, hit that sub button like Chung hitting Ho with another disguise. Quick, sneaky, and you won't regret it. Ominous music plays as a man climbs a set of stairs. He pushes open the door and steps out onto the rooftop. The sky above is clear and bright, but his reasons for being there are hidden. The man, Ching-Wan, walks to the edge and stands on the ledge without fear. Memories rush through his mind like quick flashes. He stands still, a man who does not shy away from death. As the flashback occurs, he is in a hospital room. The doctor tells him the cancer has spread to its last stage. Chung quietly asks how much time he has left. The doctor answers 4 weeks. There is nothing left for him to lose. When the doctor asks when he will return for his next checkup, Chung gives a calm but heavy reply. Not in this life. The scene shifts to a quiet diner. Detective Ho Shung-song sits by the window, eating a sandwich and reading the newspaper. A few tables away, Chung sits alone, also eating, unaware of the eyes that might be watching. Moments later, Detective Ho is called to a tense crime scene. A bank has been robbed, and hostages are trapped inside. Ho steps into a police van, where Chief Investigator Wong Kai-fat is pacing, his face tight with worry. The team has attempted to negotiate with the robbers, but to no avail. A tape crackles. The lead criminal lists demands. Chief Wong tries to negotiate, but they refuse. They want a bulletproof Mercedes and a clear path. Wong scoffs, dryly, "Why stop at a Mercedes? Why not a helicopter too?" To everyone's surprise, the criminals respond without hesitation. Now they want a helicopter as well. Detective Ho leans closer to the tape, playing it again and again. There's something strange in the voice, something that doesn't sound right. They have only 27 minutes before they take down all the hostages. Detective Ho grabs the radio and tells Chief Wong to stay quiet. As they move closer to the bank entrance, Wong can't help himself and keeps talking. Ho turns to him sharply and repeats, "Keep your mouth shut." Then he steps through the door alone. Inside, 2 masked men stand with guns. A guard lies dead. Ho keeps his hands visible, speaking calmly. The robbers are tense. He asks for time. One panics and fires. In the chaos, the second robber blurts out his partner's real name. The slip rattles them. The heavier one starts to shake. Ho seizes the opening, telling him that he is being used, and informs them that there's no escape. Then comes another blow. Their getaway driver has already run off, too afraid to stay. Ho quietly switches off his radio to avoid distractions. The room grows thick with tension, until a man suddenly steps forward from behind the crowd, draws his gun, and shoots both robbers dead. The hostages rush out screaming. The shooter claims he's an off-duty cop who happened to be there when it all began. But something about his sickly look and shaky voice feels familiar, like the same voice that demanded the getaway car over the radio. Ho kneels by one of the dying robbers and speaks low. The cop is no cop at all. He's the mastermind. The robber raises his gun at Ho, but Ho calmly tells him, "The dead can't talk. I've known all along. Put it down. It's over." Ho steps outside. A single gunshot echoes behind him. The robber has ended his own life. Across the street, in one of his more theatrical moves, Ching-Wan dons the alias Peter, a name that might as well be pulled from thin air. It's just another mask in his game. Snaps photos of Detective Ho. He lowers his camera, a knowing smile curling across his face. At the station, Ho can't sit still. Every order he gives is already done. He paces, burying himself in work. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Chung takes an interest in Ho, who he discovers was a former member of the Special Duties Unit. In a quiet room, Chung sits on his computer, a collection of many monitors, as he makes the perfect mold mask, making flawless disguises. In the diner again, Chung and Ho sit silently at separate tables. Chung leaves, When Ho calls for the bill, the waitress says it's already paid and hands him a coaster with the number 13 written on it. This small gesture is only the start. Chung moves on to the next step of his plan. He enters a finance company and walks calmly to the men's restroom. There, he scores an X on the window with a glass cutter. Then, with quiet confidence, he heads to the accounting offices and asks to see Mr. Lee. He claims he's here for an appointment to sell his house. Lee asks for the deed, but when he opens the file, it's full of magazines. Before he can react, Chung draws a gun and orders everyone else out of the room. Only Lee stays. Chung tells him to lock the door. Moving fast, Chung forces Lee to open the vault. He ties Lee up and pushes him to the ground. Using a table, Chung climbs into the ventilation system, crawling toward another vault. Through the vents, he makes his way to another vault. He sets up a small hidden camera, then slips back. By now, the police have surrounded the building. Chief Wong sends in a negotiator, but Chung steps out, taking the diamonds from the vault. He stuffs some cash into Lee's pockets and unties him, creating the illusion that Lee might have been part of it. Negotiator Hui approaches carefully, but Chung grabs Lee and uses him as a hostage. He demands another negotiator. Chief Wong steps forward himself, trying to take control, only for Chung to sneer and tell him to back off. Detective Ho arrives at the finance building as the SWAT team prepares to move in. He heads for the elevator, but a security guard stops him. After a quick exchange and firm words, Ho pushes through and makes his way to the rooftop. Chief Wong is already there, climbing the stairs with sweat on his brow. When Ho asks what's going on, Wong mutters that Chung is only stalling for time. Ho presses him. How does he know? Wong shrugs, bitter, saying he just couldn't get through to Chung. Ho frowns, irritated. He steps out into the open, hands raised, calling out to Chung. He makes it clear he's unarmed, hoping to gain Chung's trust. But around them, snipers are taking positions. Chung isn't fooled. He keeps himself tucked behind his hostage and against a concrete pillar, giving no one a clean shot. Ho asks what Chung wants, and he responds that he only wants to play a game with him for 72 hours. The standoff grows tighter. To raise the stakes, Chung fires at the hostage. Chaos erupts as officers rush forward, but Chung shouts over them, warning that bombs are planted all around the building and he'll detonate them. Ho suspects he's bluffing, but Wong hesitates. No one wants to take that chance. Chung edges toward a vent, orders them not to follow, and disappears inside. Moments later, the truth comes out. The bullet was nothing but a paintball. Not only that, but the bombs were fake too. The SWAT team storms after him, racing through the building. Chung slips back into the building through the bathroom window he had marked earlier with an X. Inside, he pulls a SWAT team uniform from a trash bin and quickly changes. Dressed like one of them, he moves through the halls with calm precision. When a guard crosses his path, Chung takes him down in a swift but not so silent motion. Outside, Detective Ho is furious with Chief Wong. He knows exactly what Chung is doing, escaping disguised as one of the SWAT officers. Ho rushes out, scanning the area, searching for any clue. At a nearby taxi stand, Ho spots a cab oddly parked off to the side. He hurries over, slides into the driver's seat, and waits. A moment later, Chung enters the taxi, unaware of who is behind the wheel. Inside the cab, Chung lays out the rules of his twisted game. If Ho can arrest him, Ho wins. If not, Chung wins. Without warning, Chung pulls out a gun and fires out the window, deliberately missing people in the crowd. The tension spikes as he starts a countdown, promising another shot when it reaches 0. Ho tightens his grip on the wheel, heart pounding. Just as Chung reaches the end of his countdown, Ho slams the brakes. Chung uses the chaos to bolt from the car and vanish into the streets. Meanwhile, Lee, the accountant Chung left behind, is sitting with pockets stuffed full of cash, his face pale, unsure what to do. He has sold himself out without even meaning to. Chung jumps onto a crowded bus as police checkpoints spring up everywhere. He notices a young woman sitting alone and slips into the seat beside her. The gun is visible for only a second, enough to make her freeze. Playing along, she acts as if they are together. When officers board and inspect the passengers, they pass by without suspicion. At the next stop, Chung gets off, and so does the young woman, Leung Yuan-ting. She hands Chung his glasses, which had slipped earlier, and then quietly walks into her home. The scene shifts. In a dimly lit underground hideout, a secret deal is taking place. A priceless diamond is being exchanged for stacks of cash. Baldy, a sharp-eyed mob leader, hands over the money to a group of American thieves, then coldly turns on them when they ask for more money. Gunshots echo and the thieves drop to the floor. The diamond, now in Baldy's hands, is passed to a man waiting nearby, Chung as Peter, the same man seen earlier taking photos of Detective Ho. Chung inspects the stone under a lens and nods. "It's real," he says. He says that he knows a buyer, but in return, he wants 20% of the cut. Baldy agrees. Back at the finance company, Detective Ho questions Lee, but Lee refuses to talk, brushing past him again and again. Frustrated, Ho watches as Baldy and his men stride into the building carrying a heavy briefcase. In the depths of the building, Baldy's crew stops at a locked vault. Suet, one of the henchmen, fumbles with the code, cursing under his breath. His memory is terrible, but after a few tries, the door finally clicks open. Ho tries to follow them in, but Suet blocks the way. When Ho reveals he's a detective, Suet shrugs him off, saying they've already told the police everything they know and they're done helping. On his way out, Ho spots Mr. Lee again, this time rushing toward the bathroom. Their eyes lock for a split second before Lee bolts, disappearing down the hall. The scene cuts to Chung alone in his room, tightening a screw into a jewelry case. A violent cough interrupts him. He staggers toward the bed, but blood sprays from his mouth, streaking the wall. His illness is catching up with him. Back at the station, the investigation feels stuck. The team is drained, ready to give up. Ho waves them off, dismissing them for the night. Just before he leaves, someone hands him a parcel. Inside is a single screw, the same kind used in the finance company's vents. Ho's instincts spark. This is a message. Outside, Ho meets with the head of Interpol, asking for everything they have on Baldy. As they sort through files in her car, one photo freezes him in place. Peter, the man who photographed him earlier. Ho demands more details. She tries to lighten the mood, asking him out for dinner. Ho simply asks her to drop him off at his car. Meanwhile, Chung arrives outside the finance building, waiting in a parked car. Moments later, Ho shows up too. At the entrance, the reception guard blocks Ho, explaining that Chief Wong has ordered him not to let Ho inside. The guard sets down his coffee to escort him out, but Ho quickly distracts him by calling the reception phone. While the guard is busy, Ho slips past unnoticed. The guard thinks Ho has left, only to discover his coffee creamer is missing. Inside, Ho reaches a keypad-locked door. He sprinkles the creamer powder over the keys, revealing fingerprints, and punches in the right code. Crawling through the building, Ho notices a vent with a missing screw. He climbs in and discovers a hidden camera planted inside. Before he can react, a sudden explosion happens. Chung has set it off. Alarms blare. Baldy's men spring into action, radioing warnings. Suet, with his terrible memory, struggles to grasp what's happening. Baldy is alerted about the breach. Ho hides inside a fire cabinet, holding his breath, but his phone suddenly rings. The sound draws the men closer. He bolts, throwing open a side door to mislead them. His phone rings again. It's Chung. Through the cameras, Chung is watching every move. Calmly, he tells Ho that more guards are heading to the elevator. Ho kicks off his shoes to run quietly and dashes toward the stairwell. At the end of the hall, he reaches the emergency exit. He knows opening it will set off alarms, but he has no choice. The alarm screams as Chung ends the call and slips into the parking lot. Downstairs, Chung swaps his car with Baldy's, while Baldy's convoy is still on the move. Ho, meanwhile, forces open a door, only to be met by Suet. Suet stares blankly, unable to recognize him, and simply points. Ho knocks him out with one swift hit. Outside, one of Baldy's men carries the diamond-filled briefcase to a waiting car, assuming Baldy is inside. But behind the wheel is Chung in disguise. They hand over the case and Chung drives off. On the road, Baldy's real car speeds ahead, only to notice Chung's vehicle passing by. Moments later, Baldy arrives at the rendezvous and finds his man lying on the ground, the diamond gone. Rage flashes in his eyes as he shouts for his men to chase down Chung. A car chase tears through the streets. Ho, right behind Chung, ramming his bumper, refusing to let him slip away. Suddenly, headlights flare in the distance. Baldy's men block the road and open fire. Bullets rip through the night, forcing both Ho and Chung to a screeching halt. In the chaos, they dive into each other's cars, scrambling for cover. Ho quickly notices something. The fuel from his own car is leaking. Thinking fast, he leans over to Chung. "I'll drive." "You light it up. When we're close enough, we blow them sky high." Chung nods, but as soon as Ho floors the gas, Chung fires at the trail of fuel too early, leaving Ho with almost no time to act. Ho jams something against the accelerator, leaps out mid-motion, and dives into Chung's car. They speed away just as the vehicle barrels toward Baldy's men, but the flames flicker out. The plan fails. On the highway, Ho levels his gun at Chung. "Tables have turned. Drive us to the station, now." But Chung doesn't flinch. He's dying anyway, and he knows it. Instead of slowing down, he slams the accelerator and sends them crashing off the road. Outside the wreck, both men crawl from the wreckage, dazed, struggling to focus on the briefcase full of diamonds. Chung's painkillers spill across the dirt. Ho's vision swims, his strength fading, and Chung seizes the moment. He snatches the briefcase and disappears into the night. Later, at the hospital, Wong storms in to confront Ho. He finds the scattered medication and sees the bullet holes in Ho's car. His mind jumps to the worst conclusion, that Ho is hiding a terminal illness. Ho doesn't correct him, letting Wong believe it. Before Wong can press further, the head of Interpol steps into the room, presenting Ho the file he requested. Ho grabs the files on Peter and digs deeper. His heart sinks. Peter has been dead for months, and in another photo taken recently, Chung stands in his place. The date of death on the report is 13th. That's tomorrow. It all clicks for Ho. This isn't just crime. This is revenge. Meanwhile, Chung, disguised as his father, calls Baldy. He sends proof that he has the diamond and offers a deal. $20 million and I'll return it. The next day, 13th, Ho sits in the diner. Police on standby, eyes sharp. Chung walks in. Ho gives him 60 seconds. "Tell me why." Chung calmly lays it out. Baldy is the real prize, a major Interpol target. Catch him, and they both walk away heroes. Without Chung's plan, Ho loses everything. Ho studies him for a long second, then quietly opens the back door. "Go." Chung slips out into the alley. Moments later, Wong bursts into the diner, furious, but after a beat, his anger softens. Ho has made his choice. Chung boards the same bus, and Lung is seated nearby. As the police halt the vehicle, she quietly makes space for him, posing as a couple once more. It's a false alarm, just a traffic violation. Later, they sit at a diner. When she presses gently for answers, Chung-Hwa simply says he's a nobody, and that time's almost up. A cough caused blood to stain the water glass. He leaves before she can react. The final plan is in motion. Undercover cops wait in position, though their attempts at bowling are clumsy at best. Detective Ho slips through the crowd, keeping his nerves steady. He brushes past Sweat, who still stares blankly, unable to place Ho's face. Then, a striking woman in dark shades takes the seat beside Ho. It unsettles him. Slowly, she lowers the shades, and Ho's eyes widen. It's Chung, perfectly disguised. He slides a briefcase onto Ho's lap. "If anything goes wrong," Chung whispers, "tell Baldy that the diamond is fake." Before Ho can leave, Chung leans closer. "One more thing," he says with a faint smile. "Kiss me." Ho freezes, but the plan is more important than pride. He leans in, brushes Chung's cheek with his lips, and rises. Baldy eyes him as he approaches. "Is that your girlfriend?" Baldy smirks. Ho hesitates, then nods. "Yes." The deal is set. Money for the diamond. But Baldy insists the woman go fetch the cash. Chung goes, with Baldy's men, as Wong's men tail him. Chung had to take down both Baldy's men and the cops shadowing him. By the time Sweet and the others rush to check, the carnage is done. Back inside, the exchange begins. Baldy demands the diamond, but Chung steps forward, voice cutting through the tension. "That diamond's fake," he announces. "I've got the real one." Ho instantly catches on. He inspects the gem in the briefcase and declares, "It's fake," just as Chung told him. They lunge, pretending to struggle, but Baldy's men break it up. Ho passes the bag to Baldy, buying Chung more time. Then Sweet steps in, squinting. He still can't remember Ho until it's too late. Baldy slams a bowling ball in fury. Diamonds explode across the polished floor. The cops flood in. Baldy and his crew are finished. But as Ho examines the case, his heart sinks. The main diamond is gone. Chung had bluffed them all. Outside, Chung calmly stows the diamond and cash in his car. But as he shuts the trunk, a shadow moves in the driver's seat. Ho is already there, waiting. Ho extends his hand. "Are we friends?" Chung hesitates, then clasps Ho's hand, only to feel the cold snap of handcuffs locking him to the wheel. They drive off, sirens closing in. Ho presses for answers. "Why do all this knowing you're dying?" Chung only smiles faintly, saying nothing. He reveals a bomb in his hand. Ho scoffs. Another bluff, he thinks. Chung meets his eyes. "If you think it's fake, press it." Ho does. A timer flashes to life. His blood runs cold. "Everyone fall back," he shouts over the radio. As the seconds tick, Chung's breath grows shallow. A cough, a wet rasp. He slumps in his seat. Ho brakes hard, pulls over. But Chung is gone, silent, still. Ho steps out, shaken, unable to claim victory. The timer hits 0. The engine roars back to life and the car speeds away. Chung was alive after all, fading into the night. The next morning, Ho sits in his usual diner, tea warming his hands. A headline catches his eye. $20 million anonymously donated to a children's cancer hospital. Chung's true plan was never greed. It was purpose. Later that night, after a long shift, Ho boards a bus. Across the aisle sits Leung, the quiet young woman from before. But it's not her presence that holds him. It's the necklace she wears. A glint of blue catches the light. Ho watches the gem, a spark of recognition in his eyes. He smiles gently. "Keep it safe," he says. "You never know what it's worth." The bus rumbles on through the city night, carrying with it secrets, memories, and the faint trace of a man who was always one step ahead. And with that, the movie comes to a close. And that's Running Out of Time, a cat-and-mouse duel where even time couldn't catch up to Chung-Hwa. If you had fun riding shotgun through all the bluffs, masks, and mind games, smash that like button harder than Baldy smashing that bowling ball. Drop a comment with your favorite bluff and subscribe, because around here, we're always one step ahead.